last year I did my Discord women video, and it was basically me as someone who had largely stayed away from the site, in the year or so before, coming back on there just trying to talk to people and running into these very strange women. And there were people that, they tried to make fun of me. But the video for me was a one and done. And since making that video, I have largely abstained from really speaking to anyone on there besides people I've known for years who are, not going to do the strange bipolar stuff a lot of these girls on there like to do. And I had this woman back in February who I had been speaking to for, it had to have been at least a month. She called me a racial slur, which I didn't like. I was confused by. I don't get why we have these people overseas that can just say the N-word like it's no big deal. And after calling me this, she blocked me. And it was, all of it was just kind of weird to me. Like, why am I getting called a racial slur? Why am I getting blocked by someone that's been sitting in these, hour plus calls or whatever? But I just said, okay, you know what? It's another weird thing with one of them. We're not surprised. And that's why I ultimately didn't do a video on it, never intended to make a video about it. But then, at the end of last month, something interesting happened. Now, again, she blocked me in February. We're in August. This is the end of July, the exact last day of July. She sends me a message with some ... And I said, "Why did you block me?" She replies, "My bad, I forgot." And then I said, "I thought you liked talking to me. I can see I was wrong." She replies, "No." I said, "You don't block someone you like talking to. Makes no sense." Her response, "I don't remember, to be honest, but I did like." And I responded, "You did like blocking me, of course. I'm sure it tasted oh so sweet." And I put in quotations, "I don't have to hear from him again. What a relief." And then she continues, "I mean, I did like talking to you, Baka." And I said, "I do think it is Baka to block someone you like talking to. That's like never going back to a restaurant with food you enjoy." Then she writes, "Maybe I accidentally blocked you. I can't recall why." And then my response was, if it was an accident, why would it take you months to undo it? Then she goes, "Oh, I was going through the block list and found you there yesterday." Just to kind of go forward a little bit here, I gave her the option. I said, "Look, if you don't want to talk, just say you don't, and I'll be history." And then she goes, "Oh, I unblocked you, and you're saying this." And I said, "Yeah, after 5 months." She goes, "Do you even remember me?" Then she calls herself giving me a test of what I remember about her, which just it's stupid. But I make mention of it again. I'm like, spending her responding to her saying that I don't have a goldfish memory. I said, spending 2 months getting to know you and then being thrown away like that was nuts. And she goes, "Can you stop saying this? Told you it might be accident. If I really want to throw you away, won't be unblocking you, and I saw you there in the list." And then my response is, "Might be accident. That means there's a chance it was on purpose. Now you would be examining every word I say." And then I don't respond to her, and then she replies, ignoring me. And then I respond, "I was asleep." And then to her saying, ignoring me, I go, "That's exactly what I should do. After all, you spoiled all the goodwill I had when you blocked me for months." And then she replies, "Okay," and I didn't respond to that. So I'm trying to think. There have been instances in the past where there's some woman who at first was like, "I don't want to talk anymore," and then she would change her mind. But usually it's in the same day, the same week. I can't think of any other instance where, because blocking is the act of making it to where someone can no longer reach out to you. Of course, I'm not going to make another account to try reaching out to one of these bastards. They're a dime a dozen. But you get the idea that it's something you do when you're sick of someone. Don't talk to me. Get away from me. Right? It is a very hostile thing to do. So to block someone and for almost half a year, right, just have them in this way to which they're not able to speak to you, and then try to come back and start speaking to them again like nothing happened. I mean, just the brazenness of it. I mean, like, look at her entitlement. She made it impossible for me to speak to her for, again, almost half a year. And when confronted over this, she not only claims to not be able to remember what she did, but also snaps at me for mentioning it. But it's like, why wouldn't I mention the sole reason we have not spoken in months in our first exchange, since you reversed your dim-witted decision to block me for no reason? I should also mention that she lied about her age. Like, she said she was 20, and then in her little new message crap, she says she's 18. I don't like women that lie about their age because, unfortunately, in our society, where people make fun of and antagonize men for any and everything, their refusal to be honest about their age can result in the man being labeled a predator for something that he would have no knowledge of. So, like, if you're a guy and you go online and you say, oh, this woman is pretty, let's say you're a year older, 5 years older, 10 years older, you could mean this as just a compliment. Oh, it's a pretty girl. There are people who will take that and spin it as, oh, you want to be her boyfriend. You want to date this barely legal adult. There is something wrong with you. And you're like, I don't want to date anyone. I'm just complimenting someone. And they will spin it that way. And a lot of these girls, unfortunately, are so depraved, they even do this to their own romantic partners. I spoke to a woman from Oman who called her ex-boyfriend a groomer. And when I hear that, I'm thinking, oh, this must have been some guy that was like 5-10 years older than her, whatever. 3-year difference, which is one of those things where, depending on where you live, it might not be legal. Like, for example, we have what are called Romeo and Juliet laws, where if the romantic partners are within 3 years of each other, like could have gone to high school together, there shouldn't be like any kind of like breaking of a law. But it's one of those things where it's not enough for her to no longer be with him. She has to make him out to be like something like worse, like something, doing something illegal, right? You have to completely destroy this guy's reputation, even amongst people who have no idea who he is or anything relating to him. And with this broad, I just find it so fascinating how, like, because let's make it clear, you don't block someone that you actually want to talk to on accident. If I'm speaking to somebody every day, every week, and then all of a sudden, hey, I haven't heard from them in a while. What's going on? Usually when I get that feeling, I know it's because they probably blocked me. But if I'm talking to someone for some protracted amount of time, like a week, a few weeks, or a month, and all of a sudden they're not responding to me anymore, I'm going to notice. It's not going to take me 5 months to realize that I supposedly accidentally blocked someone. And just look at the lack of accountability. Why did you block me? My bad, I forgot. Oh, I did like speaking to you. Okay, you like speaking to me so much that you made it impossible for me to speak to you for almost half a year. That makes sense. Like, some of this stuff I couldn't conceive of anything more absurd. I was really trying to figure out which is worse, women on Discord or Twitter. The Twitter girls / women, whatever you want to call them, they're more likely to just get mad that someone, posted something they don't agree with. Right? I've been blocked by people I've never even spoken or interacted with. They will block some guy who's like responding to their post. There's like without ever like indicating like, hey, I don't like what you're writing to me or whatever. There's like a real lack of being able to just directly state their issue with someone, right? Because the internet lets people kind of like hide behind these pillars of, invincibility. But with the Discord ones, some of these bastards will sit in calls with a man for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Like, I'm not kidding when I say, I think there is something. It's not illegal. It's not wrong, necessarily with regard to law. But I think there's something wrong morally with the idea of speaking to someone for hours on end, right? It could have been 1 hour together, 2, 3, 4 hours, for like multiple hours, giggling, laughing, grinning, acting like you're having this, ball of a time. And then a day later, a week later, a month later, without any like significant argument, you block them. I find that to be scumbag behavior, and that's a big part of the reason why I don't waste the oxygen with a lot of these different women on social media and even the ones in real life, because it's just it has turned into something that is not conducive to forwarding of my goals, which is why it's just so disillusioning. But I should also say, if she, in reaching back out to me, appeared genuinely remorseful, right? Was like, hey, I don't know why you were on my block list. I must have just been blocking a whole bunch of people. And I really, liked us speaking to each other. I'm sorry. If you saw that, and again, her being honest about how old she was, maybe I'd be more like open to it. But it's just like, my bad, I forgot. I like speaking to you. Let's just move on from that. How have you been doing? It's like, no, dingbat. The friendly Justin that was nice and complimentary, right? That one got thrown off of a damn bridge for no reason months and months ago, and moved on. And in trying to speak to me again, you're not going to get a reset. You're going to get the version that you created as a result of your choice to treat me like crap. So I just want to ask this question, and I'm taking all comments. So very serious. How do you accidentally block someone for months? Like how do you block someone unintentionally and then they're just on your block list month after month after month? The only thing I can think of is she's another one of these, like, these extremely bored, sit on the computer all day long girls that is talking to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 guys, and she was just blocking everybody that she was talking to and hit me. That's the only thing I can think of as like a rationale, and that still would be something I couldn't forgive, because again, you're not going to have someone that you actually value speaking to be unable to speak to you for almost half a year, and then you just like don't notice. So it's sad that people, if they make a mistake, they should be able to acknowledge it, to accept that what they've done has consequences, and to just be able to do things that are rational. It's not rational to block someone that you like talking to, which is why I was unwilling to, along with the other reason, reignite an exchange with her, because this stuff just doesn't make sense anymore. But the one consistency that they've had for years is the lies. I don't remember why I blocked someone. I don't remember why I couldn't unblock them for months. Never an honest word.